Ladies and gents, boys and girls, what is going on? Monday, October the 28th. This is the Monday Power Hour SEC Unfiltered SEC Football call-in show for the next hour, taking your questions, your comments, and your calls at 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. Would love to hear from you as we react to Week 9 in SEC football and across the country as well. What a weekend it was. Another wacky, entertaining weekend of college football, no doubt. Again, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Thank you all so much again for the continued love and support. I see my guy Matt Beard is in the chat. Matt Beard's up in here. What's going on, Matt? Appreciate you jumping in. Thanks so much again for your love and support, man. Again, want to say thank you all so much, man. It's crazy as we wrap up. This is the final Monday Power Hour of the month of October. The season just continues to fly by. And, I want to do as I do most weeks, but in case I don't, man, I want to start by saying thank you all so much for the continued love and support. The successes and the things that we're achieving with SEC Unfiltered and our very first football season are truly incredible. It's crazy when you stay obviously going 1,000 miles an hour. We're on the road, we're traveling, we're cutting up content, we're staying at it every single day, 24/7, it seems. But to take a moment, to reflect what we've done to this point, the successes we've had to this point in the season, the things we're able to accomplish right now, the fact that we're going on the SEC Unfiltered Tour and going into the final month of it, man, we could not do any of this without you all, without your love and support, without you guys supporting us each and every single step of the way, man. So again, thank you all so much, man, from the bottom of my heart. It means the absolute world. It's great, obviously, week after week, going on the road, interacting with you guys even on social media, and really, really exciting things happening with SEC Unfiltered, man. It's all because of you guys. So I want to start, guys, on that note, because obviously this previous weekend, we were in Nashville, Tennessee for the game between Vanderbilt and Texas. I want to say thank you to the folks in Nashville, man. Really, truly. Listen, I know, people love to take shots at Vanderbilt and, make comments about their fan base and all that stuff. And I would say this, man, while Vanderbilt fans are smaller in number, those that are in number are as passionate as any as I've come across in the SEC. Really, truly. I want to say special thanks to my guys, Trevor and Will, over at the Door Report. They were absolutely incredible. Lot 2, when we look back on the 2024 SEC Unfiltered Tour, I will look back on Lot 2 as one of my favorite tailgates of the season. Because, again, while Vanderbilt may be smaller in number, it is, right? I mean, there were 7,000 people at that game on Saturday. It's much smaller in number. Those that love and support Vandy, they truly love and support Vanderbilt. And again, they welcomed us with open arms. They welcomed me with open arms. And I just can't say thank you enough, man. It was really, really cool. My first time ever experiencing a game on the West End, and certainly won't be my last. And also, guys, Nashville, what a ripper Nashville was. My goodness. Nashville was incredible. Nashville, I'll tell you this, guys. So for those that don't realize, I live in the upstate of South Carolina currently. I will be moving within the next, It's about to be November. Within the next 6 months or so, 6 to 7 months, I will be moving. And so I'm kind of right now, I can go anywhere, obviously. What we do is digital. We don't have an office space right now or anything yet. We're getting closer to that, but not right now. We have the freedom to do everything we do digitally, do it from wherever. So anyways, I'm not staying in the upstate of South Carolina, for those wondering. So I'm sort of weighing the options of where I'm going to take my life and where I'm going to take effectively SEC Unfiltered HQ next spring or summer, if you will. Charlotte has been a city that's certainly been the top of the list for me. Love Charlotte, North Carolina. Lived there for 4 years previously. Absolutely love it. But I tell you what, Nashville shot up the list this weekend. Nashville was so awesome. And I'm not just talking, obviously, Broadway. We had a good time on Broadway, in case you're wondering. We did have a really good time. But the city itself, the vibes, and I don't know, man, the energy of the city. It's kind of like Charlotte on steroids a little bit is the feel I got from it. So, maybe potentially Nashville is a spot you could see us land. I really enjoyed my time, like I said. State of Tennessee is beautiful. Love that mountainous area up there as well. So we'll see. Again, that's kind of down the pipe, if you will. Guys, we'll go ahead and open up the phone lines again. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to the folks in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you to the folks at Vanderbilt. Thank you to the folks with the Door Report, Trevor, Will, Lot 2. Absolutely incredible. Again, that will live on as one of my favorite tailgates that I've been to this entire season. And can't wait for you guys to see the vlog that drops on Wednesday night, because the content we got both on game day and, of course, Broadway, some of the most electric content that we've gotten to this point. I'll just put it that way. So, anyways, phone lines are open, guys. 803-500-1485. If you don't want to call in, that's 803-500-1485. Would love to hear from you, your thoughts, your takeaways from the weekend, maybe what you're looking ahead to this weekend. By the way, guys, want to inform you. So we are a week away from tip-off. Yes, college basketball season is officially back. We're a week away from tip-off. I know we're all in football mode, but we love basketball here at SEC Unfiltered as well. Again, don't forget, you may have forgotten, especially if you're new, we cover the big three sports, man: baseball, basketball, football, and everything in between. We're not just a football entity. So Wednesday, you can expect on Wednesday, not exactly sure the time, but this week, Wednesday, my good friend Dave Shoemate and I, we will be dropping our 2024-2025 SEC basketball season preview. That's going to be via YouTube podcast. Obviously, we'll have graphics to go with it, our predictions, our predicted order of finish, all that good stuff. So we are dropping that on Wednesday. You can expect to see that on Wednesday. Everything you need to know to get you ready for the upcoming college basketball season, guys. Really, really excited for our college basketball coverage this season. And if you think about it, SEC Unfiltered obviously guys launched December 27th of last year. So we launched, college basketball season. We were already in the thick of it. And obviously the first couple months of this year, we were really just trying to figure out, hey, like, what's the interest level in SEC basketball? Like, is it, how much content should we devote to it? How much time, how much energy? And our coverage really started to pick up, obviously, around the month of March. March Madness came into play. We did a lot of reaction stuff, preview stuff, whatever it might have been. So that was great. And I think it obviously showed us, hey, there is an interest and an excitement for SEC basketball. So really excited to have the opportunity now going into a season to preview it all, break it all down, get this thing going from the jump before we tip off. And our college basketball coverage and our college baseball coverage, spoiler, but both are going to be much more prevalent, much more immense. We're going to be doing much more with those two sports than even we did these previous seasons. Because again, these previous seasons, going back to the spring, SEC Unfiltered, we were really just getting our feet wet, kind of trying to figure out, okay, this is how business is going to look. This is how content is going to look. This is how things are going to look. So again, we continue to sharpen, we continue to improve, we continue to get better. And again, we couldn't do so without you guys, your love and support, man. Any feedback you'll ever have, we're open to it. Love to hear from you. And excited for that though, man. So Wednesday at some point, I think we're actually going to record this Tuesday. So maybe like Wednesday around noon. I don't know. Just you guys will stay tuned for it. But Wednesday, we will drop that official season preview. And again, we'll have tons of graphics, guys. We got some fun stuff coming. My guy, Dave Shoemate, is going to be our lead college basketball analyst, what have you. So Dave Shoemate, I'm going to be talking college basketball too, but Dave is our college basketball guy. Guy knows college basketball. Unlike anybody I've come across, dude loves college basketball, loves SEC basketball. So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. My guy, SEC Football Tube, with a $1.99 super chat. Congrats on the incredible gig, Chris. SEC Football Tube. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. It's been a hell of a journey, and I appreciate you being a part of it. Thank you. Let's get to some of your comments here. Chicken1515 says, Boomer Sooner. Yeah, Sooners are having a rough go at it right now. Matt Beard says, Aggies at South Carolina. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, Matt, no doubt. Going to be an interesting game. Will Eubanks, go Vols, going to whoop that Kentucky ass on Saturday. Will, we just dropped our preview for that game 10 minutes ago. on YouTube. Will be out later on podcast today. The spread is Tennessee minus 16. I do tend to agree with you, Will. I just don't see a path for Kentucky. Dare I say, make the game close. I mean, the SEC is crazy. Who knows? But I mean, if Tennessee comes out of the bye week and plays how they're capable, I don't think it's close. I mean, listen, death taxes in Tennessee beating Kentucky at Neyland Stadium. Do you realize, Will, if you take away the COVID year, because the COVID year was crazy, Kentucky has not won at Neyland we'll say this, Kentucky hasn't won at a full Neyland Stadium since 1984. And do you realize those games, it's been 2006. Again, if you don't count the COVID year, 2006 was the last time in front of a full Neyland Stadium that Tennessee's margin of victory was single digits. They've beaten them by double digits every year since 06 in front of a full Neyland Stadium. Again, 2020 COVID, Kentucky did walk in there and get the dub, but I mean, COVID was a weird year. So, yeah, it's been a domination for Tennessee in that building. Christian Nielsen, what's up, Christian? Go Tigers, big weekend in Baton Rouge in 2 weeks. Yeah. I mean, listen, man, we're on the SEC Unfiltered Tour. My guy Blake, other LSU folks, they have been trying to convince me to come back down for the LSU-Alabama game. As tempting as it is, and as much as I would love to, I said no repeats on the tour because we have a lot of different places to get to. There's many places, again, I still haven't been yet. So I can't do the repeat. I would love to, but I know it's going to be a freaking madhouse down there for that Alabama game. And it'll be a playoff eliminator, essentially. It will absolutely be a college football playoff eliminator. Again, guys, 803-500-1485. If you're wondering how to call in, you can text that number as well, be part of the show. Christian Nielsen, again, could Matt McMahon be building something in Baton Rouge with the current guys he has committed? I mean, I think certainly. I like McMahon. In that spot. You just want to see them take a step forward this year. But yeah, some of the guys he has committed, no doubt, I think they could be improved. There's no question. SEC football too, been a good one for sure. Love to see it living the dream. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm immensely blessed, man. It's the SEC Unfiltered Tour, the content, the business, the way things have scaled. It's really special, man. It's really, really special. I don't ever wake up a single day and take it for granted. So I appreciate y'all. Chicken 1515. Now I know why SEC always scheduled a D3 team after week 8. We need anybody to get healthy. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, it's the SEC schedule's brutal. It will take it on you. And you guys have Oklahoma's got Maine this weekend. So Oklahoma should be able to right the ship. And I believe I did see a spread. I didn't at first, but I saw a spread. Oklahoma's a 31-point favorite. So should be a get-right opportunity for the Sooners this weekend. Jerry Pritchard, go Hogs. Do you think Hogs win this weekend? I have not, Jerry, made a prediction yet for that game. What is it? Arkansas and Ole Miss doing battle. That spread's actually come down. I would not be surprised. To see Arkansas beat Ole Miss. That is the game this weekend. Yeah. That spread was, I think, Ole Miss like 9.5. Now it's Ole Miss minus 6.5. I mean, listen, man. The Hogs are rolling. That offense, 600 yards of offense against Mississippi State. So Hogs are starting to get hot. Hogs are starting to roll a little bit. Yeah, Hogs are getting after it for sure. Again, guys, in case you missed it, the SEC Unfiltered Tour is headed to Jacksonville, Florida for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Very excited to get down to Jacksonville. Going to be one hell of a time, man. Really, really pumped for it. Really, really pumped for it. So, really pumped for the game. This is a rivalry, obviously, growing up, man. I've experienced, or not experienced, but experienced watching. It's one of those rivalries, right? People have asked me, like, what's your takeaway on what's your takeaway on the rivalry, whatever. It's one of those, like, I don't know if it carries the same weight as like a Red River. And one of the reasons is it's just both teams haven't been good when playing each other for quite a while. I don't know why that is. But I am excited to experience it, man. Jacksonville is going to be a lot of fun. Love the city of Jacksonville. It's going to be a really good time. Going to be a really, really good time. So looking forward to it. Excited. Going to be a blast hanging out with Gators and Bulldogs down there. So I told myself no more neutral sites, but this one's different. Also, too, you look at the schedule, guys. We've been everywhere else. And I'm not going to go to Oklahoma, Maine, or Mississippi State, UMass, respectfully. We had been everywhere else on the slate, so it just stars align for us to go to Jacksonville for the cocktail party. So, SEC football, too. If Carolina gets close again this weekend and fails again this season, will be remembered amongst fans for the 3 games we should have won but blew it against ranked teams. Yeah, I mean, that's nobody remembers being close, Nobody's going to remember just being close. He says more so if it happens in the way the LSU and the Bama games ended. Yeah, those have been brutal losses for sure. That's an interesting game, A&M going to South Carolina, because I think this game, it's been looked at as like the trap game for A&M all offseason. Night game at Williams-Brice Stadium, Carolina coming off the bye week, A&M coming off an emotional win. So very, very interesting game for sure. Mr. Basset Hound, Cox get destroyed this weekend. Haven't beat a team with a top 100 offense also. They have a putrid offense themselves, ranked in the hundreds as well. Basset Hound says Carolina has no quality wins. I mean, I will say this to your point. The wins have come against Oklahoma and Kentucky in the SEC, who are 2 of the worst conference teams, 2 of the worst teams in the conference. Your other 2 wins, Old Dominion and Akron. So, I mean, listen, South Carolina is going into the month of November, to your point, looking for their first real signature win. Maybe you get it against A&M. I don't know. Adam Rackley, congrats on a great tour so far. Georgia, Florida atmosphere alone can't and won't disappoint. Do you think A&M is a legit upset alert going to South Carolina? Yeah, I mean, Adam, absolutely. I mean, look at the spread. I think it's 3 points. Yeah, I think it absolutely is a legitimate upset alert. I mean, listen, we all know, look at Kyle Field this past weekend. You go on the road in the SEC, it's really difficult to win. Texas A&M going to South Carolina, I understand it's a series in which A&M is dominated. But, guys, I can tell you this. I was in that building 2 years ago when South Carolina played Texas A&M at home at night. And for anybody who just knows college football, South Carolina at home at night is dangerous. I mean, they just are. They just are, man. It's kind of weird. It doesn't matter what the team is really like. They're a dangerous football team at home at night. Towels get going. Sandstorm gets going. So Williams-Brice Stadium under the lights is a really, really tough place to play. You think about it, South Carolina has not had a home night game outside of, I believe, the Akron game. So this will be the first conference game they've had at home at night. So, we'll see. I mean, listen, that doesn't always prevail, right? If you've got the better football team, if A&M is just the better football team, then it doesn't always work out that way where it's like, oh yeah, home night, duh, whatever. But certainly Texas A&M should be on upset alert. I think there's no question. SEC football too. Remember when Tennessee fans said the same thing in 2020? They got hammered. It's college football. You never truly know. Yeah, I mean, especially this year, 2024. I mean, you never know. You never know. So. You never know. Guys, 1 week away from tip-off. Basketball season's here. It's crazy, man. Crazy to think college basketball season is about to begin. So, who do you guys think is going to win? Again, we're previewing the season, predicting it on Wednesday. That'll drop YouTube, podcast, all that good stuff. I have not made my picks yet, but certainly some of the top contenders. I mean, you think about Alabama, one of the favorites to win it all. You think about John Calipari, his first year at Arkansas. You think about Tennessee and Rick Barnes. They got to replace a lot, though. You think about Auburn with Bruce Pearl. You think, I mean, dude, the SEC is really good. The SEC is really, really good. You look at next week, too, guys, the opening night slate. I mean, listen, it's nothing crazy. The headliner is Texas, Ohio State, and Vegas. That'll be a fun one. It's nothing crazy, though. Like, we don't have a bunch of crazy big-time matchups. And, guys, just to be transparent, by the way, again, what you can expect from us, and y'all already know the drill, of course, but basketball and baseball are not going to be like football from the standpoint. Like football, we preview every game. We talk every game as expected. We're not going to do that with basketball just because, number one, we're still in the midst of football season. Number two, I don't think there's anybody out there that really gives a damn or wants to hear about, I don't know, man, Mississippi State and High Point. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many games. We're going to bring you we're going to talk the top storylines, deliver the best content possible. But, early in the basketball season, again, we understand we're in the midst of football. We're going to stay in football mode. My guy, again, though, Dave Shoemate, he's going to do a lot of different stuff. I think Dave's planning on going live 3 times a week to talk college basketball. So we'll let you guys know exactly when we get that figured out. I don't know if I'm going to talk to Dave. I don't know if he's going to be doing that during the football season. But when we get to a point, especially by conference play, again, a lot of basketball content coming from us. And then before you know it, man, first pitch is going to be around the corner. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's interesting. People ask me all the time, are you more busy during football season or, other seasons? And it's interesting because during football season, we spend 95% of the time previewing games and talking about the games versus watching the games, right? Because there's only one game a week. But during the spring, it's a different level of busy because there's so many more games. So it's you're still busy, but it's a different kind of busy, right? So anyways, really excited for tip-off. 1 week from today, the 24-25 SEC basketball season will officially get underway. So also, by the way, next Tuesday night, some of you were like, where's he going with this? Next Tuesday night, first college football playoff rankings, which I understand there's something else going on next Tuesday night. You ain't going to hear me talk about it or mention it in the slightest because we just don't do that here. We don't do it. I don't have the capacity for it nor the desire to discuss it. So anyways, going to be a lot of fun. Guys, 803-500-1485. You want to call in? Would love to hear from you, your thoughts on everything that took place over the weekend. Guys, we've kind of reached a point, not kind of, we've reached a point. It's time to put respect on Texas A&M. I've been a Texas A&M doubter all offseason, all preseason. I picked them to go 7-5. I was like, this program has criminally underachieved with Jimbo Fisher, and every year they get hype of they're going to go 9-3, 10-2. They're going to go to the playoff. They're going to make the SEC title. And every year they fell flat. It's time to put, for me specifically, it's time to put respect on Texas A&M. They've earned it. I had LSU in that game over the weekend. A&M with Marcel Reed comes into the game, plays hero. And I thought they bullied LSU at times in that football game. Obviously took advantage of some Garrett Nussmeier mistakes. You got to give credit to Texas A&M, man. It's time to give the credit to Mike Elko, to this Texas A&M team. They're for real. I mean, they're legit. I mean, I just, I was still skeptical after the Mizzou game, right? I was like, I don't know. Maybe Mizzou's just not great. But LSU was a team I was really high on. And, for them to do what they did and dismantle them in that second half, outscored them 31-6 in that second half. For them to dismantle them the way they did in that second half, I think it's time we've got to start talking about Texas A&M in a different light. I mean, guys, going to November, this Aggies team controls its own destiny. If you would have told me they controlled their own destiny from the standpoint of going to an SEC championship game and essentially going to the college football playoff, I don't know that I would have believed you. But, man, you got to give so much credit to Mike Elko, his entire staff. I questioned how quickly could you change a culture? And that's why I was skeptical going into week 1 against Notre Dame. But it's very obvious at this point in the season, going into November, we'll see some very difficult games upcoming at South Carolina. You got to play Auburn, right? It's just there's no givens in conference play. Of course, you got the season finale against Texas. But for what they've done to this point, the fact that A&M controls their own destiny, Mike Elko proving in year 1, he was the answer this program needed. And, I'm someone that, again, I've held out about as long as I can when it comes to giving Texas A&M the respect they deserve. They earned a lot of respect from me on Saturday night, what they did at LSU. And, guys, Texas A&M, we've got to start talking about the Aggies in the same light that we talk about the upper echelon of the SEC this season. We've got to mention them in that same breath. We just have to. You have to at this point. So, kudos to the Aggies. Kudos to the 12th man. Texas A&M's for real, and I am officially going to start drinking the Kool-Aid. Now, whether A&M proves me right, proves me wrong for that decision, we'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and indulge in the Texas A&M Kool-Aid. They have earned it in my book. What they did against LSU, again, that dismantling in the second half, what Marcel Reed did coming in the game, and, also defensively, guys, what they are on both lines of scrimmage, what Mike Elko's done with this program, what Tommy Moffitt's done in the strength and conditioning. I'm drinking the A&M Kool-Aid now. I'm buying in on Texas A&M. SEC Unfiltered, SEC Football Tube. South Carolina is one of the weirdest teams in college football. They'll lose against someone they shouldn't and beat someone they shouldn't. My only question is, who have they beaten that they shouldn't this season? Listen, this weekend would be technically the team they shouldn't. And I'm actually, believe it or not, guys, so we divvy up our previews every week if you haven't realized yet. I'm on that preview, funny enough. I'm on that preview. So I don't know who I'm picking yet. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I go back and forth on it. I mean, just to be transparent, guys, I do think Texas A&M is a better football team than South Carolina. I don't think that's a hot take at all. But, however, going on the road at night, that place will be unhinged. I think what kind of worries me too, as well as I do, South Carolina is going to be the sexy upset pick because home underdog at night, that'll get played up a lot this week. Listen, I've been in that building when it has been insane and seen big upsets pulled. I've also been in that building when one big play silenced a crowd and it didn't matter all that much. So, you never know. Let's see. Midwest Picker. Hotty Toddy go whoop the Razorbacks. That one's going to be fun. That one's going to be really, really fun. So let's see. I've got the schedule in front of me. We've got Arkansas Ole Miss. That is the 11 a.m. Central Time kick, noon Eastern. I've been spending so much time in Central Time, guys, that I'm essentially becoming Central Time. It is crazy. I am becoming Central Time. That Auburn-Vandy game is going to be really interesting. Dude, if I'm an Auburn fan, I'm scared to death. I'm scared to death of Diego Pavia. Scared to death. Really excited again, guys, for the cocktail party. Really looking forward to that. Again, an SEC rivalry that I grew up watching. Every year it was just like, hey, this is one of the biggest rivalries. This is, a game that we all look forward to. So really excited to take that in firsthand. I do like the city of Jacksonville. That stadium is a lot of fun. So excited to take, maybe, who knows? Maybe we get a good game. I don't know. Georgia's a 16.5-point favorite. Florida started to play some better football here recently. So Carolina, Texas A&M, of course, the nightcap. Tennessee, Kentucky as well. Tennessee also a 16-point favorite. So And again, I don't see much of a path for Kentucky to, make that one. I'd be surprised if that's even a close game, to be honest with you. I really would. Guys, again, 803-500-1485. You want to call in, you want to text in, whatever you like. Again, guys, I want to say thank you so much for your love and support, man. I mean, I can't say thank you enough. I want you guys to know, I want to make sure you all know that how grateful we all are, myself, Dave, Cole, I speak for everybody at SEC Unfiltered, just how grateful we are for your love and support, man. I mean, it means the absolute world. Every week I feel so blessed, like going to these different stops and going on the SEC Unfiltered tour and interacting with so many great people. And it's not just obviously the home fans, but, I was hanging out with my guy, CJ Vogel of On Texas Football, and hanging out with some great Texas folks, made some new Texas connections. We will be in Austin in a few weeks, spoiler. So looking forward to that trip. But, hanging out with the great folks in Nashville, the Vandy fans, the Texas fans, the folks we met out and about, by the way, folks that had never heard of SEC Unfiltered that have now, are familiar with our content. It's just, I mean, listen, I had a vision. I mean, to give you guys some insight, our good friends over at Prize Picks, who are the proud and official sponsors of the SEC Unfiltered Tour, I pitched this idea to them way back in March. I mean, I had this idea way, way, way ago. So pitched it back in March. And so I felt really confident that a tour would be successful. I really did. I felt really, really confident that a tour would be successful. To say that the tour has been successful, to say that the tour has been one of the coolest things I've ever done in my history of being an entrepreneur, content creator, etc., is the understatement of the century. I mean, the tour has been more successful than I ever could have dreamed or imagined. Really, truly, man. Just the people we've met, the sheer value that it's built for the brand and for the business. It goes without saying. It really does. It goes without saying. It's been huge, man. It's I feel like it's gained popularity week after week. People are getting really, really excited for us to come to their cities and their stadiums and their venues, if you will, and come to their games. People are excited to see us. The vlogs are also gaining popularity week after week. It's been a really cool thing, man. I mean, it's been a really, really cool thing. And it all comes back to you guys. I mean, listen, we're just going. And every single week, man, people are reaching out, showing love, inviting us to tailgates, inviting us here, inviting us there. Man, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. So can't say thank you enough, man. I'm having more fun than I've ever had. We're having more success than we've ever had. So it's awesome. It's really, truly awesome. And again, excited to get to Jacksonville this weekend. What's funny, I'm not going to spoil it, but I actually know everywhere we're going in November. Every single stop I've got planned out. Every single stop. So you guys will have to wait week by week, but the month of November is going to be really, really fun, and we are going to be closing out the tour in style. That is for sure. We're going to be closing out the tour in style, man. It's going to be a blast. I've also gotten questions from people. Are you going to do a SEC basketball tour? Are you going to do an SEC baseball tour? And I'll just say this. The first thing I'm going to do after the SEC Unfiltered football tour is over, I am going to take a week to go skiing and go up in the mountains and take a week to relax. We're going to get some R&R in because it's been fun, but it's been a very long season, as you can imagine, traveling each and every single weekend. So I'm going to take a minute to catch my breath, probably hang out for the holidays, chill, right? Like have some time to chill and unwind. Are we going to do a full-fledged tour for basketball and or baseball? No. Just because, guys, I mean, again, when you think about the optics of it, the business side, let's just call it for what it is. We love basketball. We love baseball. It does not move the needle the way football does. So I don't think it calls. I know it doesn't. It does not call for a weekly stop, if you will. However, with that being said, I am definitely going to make it a point to get to some of these SEC basketball venues and certainly some of these SEC baseball venues. And to be transparent, guys, I'll just lay it out there. For the fan bases and the people that show us love, and I mean, everybody engages with our content. Everybody shows us love. Again, I can't say thank you enough for that. But for the fan bases that engage with us the most, that interact with us the most, that show us the most love, that, let's just call it for what it is too, that, are good. We're not going to make weekly stops, but yeah, I'd like to get to 3 or 4 big basketball games, big basketball arenas. I'd like to get to 3 or 4 or 5 SEC baseball venues over the course of the season. That's going to be a point for us. It's not going to be a full-fledged tour or anything, but we are going to make it a point to get out to some of these venues, get out to some of these games. Yeah, but it will not be like how we've gone to the football season every single week, a different game. Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a very fun time. You guys will just have to stay tuned for that, but we are going to make it a point, like I said, to get out to different venues, basketball, baseball, etc. But it will not be like a full-fledged tour. But you never know. I say that, you never know. The vlog will continue to live on, though, because I tell you this, I've been so thrilled with the way the vlog's been received. That's something I really enjoy doing, love doing it, man. I've got my GoPro and just get out there and cut up. It's just so much fun. That's something I will 100% continue to do. That's something I'll continue to do. My guy, John Rice, what's good, my man? He says, thought you almost had a 4 for 4. Vandy almost did it. Yeah, John, to your point, I mean, we came close. I think I had Texas fans scared there for a minute. There's no question. I know I did. I know I had Texas fans scared there for a minute. Great game. Was just really, honestly, John, I was happy to see the game be close. I mean, listen, there's no such thing as a bad road win in the SEC. Texas was far from perfect. They had opportunities to pull away in that game, did not. You also got to give Vandy a lot of credit, man. Listen. Vandy's not a guaranteed win for anybody they got left. I'm just telling you right now. They're not. They're not. They're not a guaranteed win. They are a scrappy team. I'll put it to you this way. They're not flashy. They're not sexy. They're not, the best team in the conference. Vanderbilt is a team, you just look at them, you're like, man, I'm not looking forward to playing them. That is not going to be like a fun game. It's going to be a very frustrating game, win or lose. That's how that's how Vandy feels this year. And that's one of the best comments you can give, especially to a program like Vandy. And I'll tell you this too, man. Again, people will turn their nose up at this and laugh at this and scoff at this. I mean this when I say it. I think Vandy's got potential. I think Vanderbilt, I think that program, they've got potential to, I'm not saying win the SEC. I'm not saying be a year in, year out playoff contender, but Vanderbilt has the makings. There's no reason that program can't go to a bowl game every year. There's no reason. There is no reason why that program cannot go 6-6 every year, or at least be in the ballpark. I don't think Vandy fans are crazy for expecting more than 3-9 yearly. I think that's a program that absolutely, because every year you're not going to play Virginia Tech in non-conference, although you beat them. You should most years be able to get 4 non-conference wins. You got to get to a point where you're winning all your non-cons. If you get 4 non-conference wins, I think Vanderbilt can be at a place where realistically winning 2 conference games is a realistic expectation. I don't think going 6-6 every year is an outlandish ask from Vandy. And being there in person, seeing the facilities, there's a lot of construction going on, but seeing the facilities, what they're building, what they're doing, and also meeting Vanderbilt folks who, again, people will turn their nose up at this. They will laugh at this. They will scoff at this. The folks I met that are Vandy fans, they are as diehard as any group of people I've met in my travels this season. Like, guys, they love Vanderbilt. Really, truly love the Commodores. Ride or die with the Commodores. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful campus. Nashville, it goes without saying, is an incredible place. And so, again, I'm not saying Vanderbilt's going to be a college football playoff contender or anything like that. But I think I can see it. The potential is there for that to, at minimum, be a program where they're making a bowl game more years than they're not. And I talked to Vandy folks on Saturday. They said that's all we're asking for, Chris. We just want to go 6-6. We'd like to maybe every now and then sniff a 7-5, maybe sniff an 8-4 once every 4 or 5 years. But just be competitive. Go to a bowl game. Be kind of floating around that number. And I think that's doable. And I think Clark Lee, by the way, this year has shown he's that guy. So, again, people will turn their nose up at it. They'll laugh at it. They'll scoff. You go there, and I'm like, I can see the potential here. I can see the vision. There's no reason why Vandy cannot accomplish that. So, I just, and again, those Vandy people, man, they were great to me. They were awesome. Zach says, Chris, will the committee look at how easy the Vol schedule has been this season? I mean, do you think they've got the easiest schedule in the conference? I mean, you just beat Alabama. That's a pretty high-quality win. Zach says 7 absolute cupcakes. I mean, Zach, listen, I think there's teams in the conference with an easier schedule than them. I mean, A&M's schedule hasn't been crazy. Texas's schedule's pretty easy. Not all schedules are built equally. I mean, listen, I thought Tennessee going in had a favorable draw to get to the playoff. And as we sit here right now, I mean, you got Kentucky and Mississippi State back-to-back. And those games, to me, for Tennessee are more about how do you win them, not if you win them. If you don't win one of those two, we got major issues. It's more about the next 2 weeks, in my opinion, are all about, okay, does Nico Iamaleava continue to make positive strides? Does he continue to take steps forward? Is he able to finally hit some of those shots that he hasn't been hitting? Are we seeing him grow and get better down the stretch? Right? That's what the next 2 weeks are about, because then you got Georgia and Athens. And if you don't find it the next 2 weeks, you ain't going to go in Athens and find it. I can tell you that right now. You're not. You're not going to find it in Athens. So, but I mean, I'm not looking at Tennessee as like frauds or anything. I'm not doing that. I mean, bro, you just beat Alabama. I know Bama's not the Bama of old. They're not world beaters, but still. Dustin says, A&M just had to play the number 8 ranked team in the country. Dustin, I totally understand that. I'm just saying from the whole, when you look at A&M's whole schedule, I mean, it's compared to other SEC schedules, been more manageable, Dustin. Maybe that's a better way to put it. It's been more manageable than some other schedules. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's more manageable. Listen, I take nothing away. My power rankings are going to drop later today. I give A&M all the credit in the world. I give them all the credit in the world, man. They earned a lot of respect from me. I mentioned it earlier. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid now. I was skeptical of A&M. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid now. I'm going to start giving A&M the respect they deserve. Now, will they live up to that? Will they fall short of that? We'll see. But I'm going to give A&M the respect they deserve now. Because I still looked at it as like, Mizzou isn't great this year. Like, they exposed them, sure. But, like, let's see what they do against LSU. And, I mean, 31-6 in that second half. Which, by the way, on the other perspective, or on the other side of that, Garrett Nussmeier, man. Garrett Nussmeier. Dude is so up and down, man. Dude is so incredibly up and down. I mean, you just can't turn the football over. You can't throw 3 picks, man. On the road to the SEC, you can't throw 3 picks. And they were bad picks. They were really bad picks. So, I still like LSU, like from a standpoint of like them as a football team. I think they're a good team still, but just cannot make those kinds of mistakes and go into a place like Kyle Field and win. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. Guys, 803-500-1485. That is 803-500-1485. Taking your questions, your comments, everything in between. I'm going to state the obvious here. Marcel Reed has got to be A&M's guy moving forward. I mean, it's right. I mean, I don't care how good Connor Wegman looks in practice. I don't care. Marcel Reed has shown you in the game he's the best quarterback for this football team. And here's the good news. If you're A&M, like you still got him on the bench. Connor Wegman's on the bench. If something goes awry, you got the guy you can go back to. But the best version of this offense, which, see, I feel like a hypocrite because when Mike Elko made the change to Connor Wegman and what he did against Mizzou, we said, okay, well, the ceiling for this offense is higher with Wegman under center because of his throwing ability. But I don't know how you can look at it, man, and say that Marcel Reed isn't this team's best choice. I don't know how you can say that he's not the best choice. Bo says, I'll believe in Coach Elko and Klein if they choose Connor. I trust them. Bo, you have to start Marcel Reed against South Carolina, right? I mean, I feel like you have to. That's going to be really interesting. I mean, it feels like a no-brainer choice, but maybe it's not as no-brainer as I'm making it out to be. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie, what's going on, man? You're on the air.
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
I just wanted to say real quick that I think that this week against A&M, we have got to smack them in the mouth, okay? Because they played, from what I saw on Saturday, they played really well on Saturday. And I think if we can come out there on Saturday night at 7:30 and right from the get-go, no matter if we get the ball first or not, smack them right in the mouth. Go after them. When there's blood in the water, go for the kill.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
And do not let up.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those games on Saturday night. It's going to be all about physicality. I think that's without saying. A&M is a really physical group, both lines of scrimmage. So it will be, dare I say, South Carolina's. It'll be their biggest challenge yet in regards to physicality. I mean, I just to be transparent,
for sure.
I'd be worried about the offensive line if I'm South Carolina. I think that A&M's got dudes up front that are going to give them a lot of problems. On the flip side, when you got a front seven like South Carolina's got, it's going to give you a good shot. So 2 really good front sevens, 2 really good defenses. You probably expect a lower scoring game. And it's really going to come down to just which of these 2 offenses is able to execute and, make some big plays and big moments. It's also going to come down to turnovers. I mean, that goes without saying, but in a game like this where I think the margins are going to be super thin, and especially for A&M going on the road in a hostile environment, if you're turning LSU, you just saw it with LSU. They turn the football over. You lose that football game on the road. It's just there's a certain recipe for winning games on the road in the SEC, and none of them include turning the football over. So it should be a good game, and I really think, and that's indicated by the spread. You know, A&M is just a 3-point favorite in this game, and I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. I think A&M is a better football team than South Carolina top to bottom. I don't think that's I don't think that's a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
But, however, when you put the game –
crazy things have happened, right?
Well, I was just going to say, when you put the game at Williams-Brice Stadium at night, you just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know. So, I think it'll be a good game. It'll be really interesting to see what takes place.
And as always, I will message you on Thursday and give you my prediction for Saturday night.
Love it, man. Love to hear it, man. Yeah, it should be it should be a fun game at Willie B, man. It should be a really good time.
I'll never forget the last was it 2 years ago? I was at the A&M game, and then you texted me and was like, "Look up," and I was like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
I looked up, and there you was.
That was 2 years ago, man. 2 years. Time flies.
Yeah.
Time flies.
But everything's going great on my end.
Good deal.
Slowly losing weight like I want to. So I'm doing good.
Congrats, man. Love to hear it.
But you have a great week, and I will talk to you next Monday.
Sounds good, Robbie. Always appreciate you calling in, my man.
You're welcome.
Yeah, man. Take
care.
All right,
buddy.
Good stuff. Great stuff from Robbie Davis, man. Always appreciate him calling in, chiming in, what have you. Let's see. We're going to open the phone lines back up. 803-500-1485. That is 803-500-1485. Again, would love to hear from you. Final 8 minutes or so. Guys, content bleeding out of the eyeballs, as you come to expect every single day. Power rankings will drop later today. We're going to be on Texas Sports Unfiltered from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern. Just getting after it, man. Having ourselves a good time. Going to be a lot of fun. Our guy Dave will be live here tonight at, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern's when Dave goes live. Dave Talks Ball. So, going to be another fun week, man. Going to be another fun week. It's been a hell of a season to this point. Crazy. We're already closing out the month of October. So, time flies, man. Got a text here. Is Marcel Reed better than Garrett Nussmeier? Oh, that's a good question. I feel like Marcel Reed's just more unproven. You know, like I then again, though, I mean, Nussmeier is slight. I mean, I don't know if I want to say unproven. He just hasn't played a lot either. Like, it's not like Garrett Nussmeier's played a ton. You have to kind of remind yourself, because he's been at LSU forever. It feels like at least forever. But he hadn't played a ton either. Listen, I'm going to take this stance on it. I'm going to take this stance, actually, because I will say this. I feel like, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because LSU folks buttered me up when I was there, all that jambalaya I ate or whatever. I feel like I've kind of coddled Garrett Nussmeier a little bit. We've kind of coddled him. Listen, here's the reality. Because what I typically find myself saying is, man, like Garrett Nussmeier, he's kind of all over the place, but, you know, I think you could honestly argue him as the best quarterback in the conference. You're not the best quarterback in the conference if you keep turning the football over. And at this point, you have to factor that in when you talk Garrett Nussmeier. You can't just say, well, man, when he's really good, like he's a first-round draft pick and, you know, he has his moments where he turns it over. No, that's bad. That's really bad. That's really bad. Garrett Nussmeier, I'll put it to you this way. Garrett Nussmeier is, and it doesn't matter the sport, football, baseball, basketball, but I come from the baseball school of thinking. There's nothing worse, and the guy that never pitches is the reliever that when the coach puts him in, listen, he throws 100, but he doesn't know if he's going to give up 10 runs or give up 0 because he's all over the place. He just doesn't know. The thing coaches want more than anything, they'll tell you this, and the thing every coach and every sport's searching for is consistency. Hey, I know when I put you out there what I'm getting. I know who you are. I know what you're going to do, right? I mean, everybody's going to have their moments, right? It happens. It's sports. But, like, coaches want to know, hey, how do you develop a role in a ball club? When I put you in the game, I know what you're going to give me. I know who you are. Garrett Nussmeier is that guy that you just don't know on a week in, week out basis. And so, like, I feel like I've kind of coddled the Nuss a little bit because, when he's good, he's really good. But, like, dude, he's just so inconsistent. He turns the football over, man. Like, that's what he does. He turns it over. And if you turn it over, you're not a very good quarterback. You're not a very good player. His ceiling is incredibly high, but his floor is so low, and it creates these inconsistencies. I'm not saying you bench Garrett Nussmeier. You absolutely, I don't think they've got anybody else that really is going to be worth a damn in that spot. Like, Nuss is your guy. You got to ride or die with him. But it's just like, it kind of feels like the turnovers, they are who he is at this point. Like, that is who he is. And you're afraid to be like, man, like, you're afraid to change him and totally reinvent him because then, like, maybe he's not going to be as good as he can be. But honestly, at this point, if you're LSU, I'd take a lower ceiling Garrett Nussmeier if it meant having a higher floor because he's throwing you out of football games. That throw rolling left back across the middle, he's throwing you out of football games. He threw you out of that football game. There's other reasons you lost. People love to defend, but there's other reasons that loss doesn't come down to one player. Yeah, but he plays the most important position on the field. The game is dictated by the quarterback. And it's dictated by line of scrimmage, there's other things too. LSU can't run the ball. But guess what? Guys, at this point, I know what LSU's going to give me. They can't run the ball. They ran it against Arkansas, but like for the most part, they can't run the ball. Okay, so we know we can't run the ball. Puts even more pressure on Nussmeier to take care of the football, make smart decisions. It's just at this point, man, like, he's just painfully inconsistent. I mean, so is Marcel Reed a better quarterback? The body of work is smaller is the only thing, but yeah, I'd probably go Marcel Reed over Nuss at this point. Yes. I mean, Reed can't throw the football the way Nuss can. That's for sure. But his running ability and taking care of the football, you can win games with that. You can't win games turning the football over. You can't do it. You can't do it. That'll be the thing against Bama. Tell me how many turnovers Nussmeier has. I'll tell you if LSU won the football game. I mean, it's just kind of common sense. So I don't know, man. Nuss is it's so all over the place. It's so all over the place. And I feel like I've been really, I feel like I've been kind of, nice about it, like with Nussmeier. But I mean, listen, man, when you turn the ball over, you're a bad player. It's kind of like a pitcher in baseball. Like, man, you throw 100, but you walk a bunch of guys. It's like, well, you're not a good pitcher. You're not a good pitcher. You fall behind in counts. You walk guys. Right now, you're not a good pitcher. You got to eliminate the walks. Nuss has got to eliminate the turnovers. Guy throws 100, but he can't find the zone consistently, at least. It doesn't matter how hard you throw or how far you can throw it or how great you look at times. If you're turning the ball over, it means nothing. So, Bo says, gig 'em. Reed can throw it, just probably not as accurate in the short passing game. Yeah, I mean, Bo, I think that's the thing that that the next step in his game is just refining the passing game. Bo says, as an Aggie, I appreciated the completions to my defense. Yeah, for sure. Guys, we have hit 1 o'clock. Cannot say thank you enough again for your love, for your support. Doing this weekly has been incredible. The Power Hour. Love interacting with you guys, engaging, taking your questions, your comments, your calls, and everything in between. And again, guys, thank you all so much. The folks in Nashville, Vanderbilt folks welcomed us with open arms. Texas folks were great too. Hung out on Broadway with some of my Texas buddies and had a great time in Nashville. Man, you showed off. I can't say thank you enough, man. Nashville showed off this weekend. What a city, what a place. You never know. You never know. SEC Unfiltered. We might be planting the flag. I'll be looking for a new spot to plant the flag mid-2025, early 2025-ish. Nashville might be the landing spot. You never know. Jacksonville, you're up next. Looking forward to the cocktail party. Guys, again, appreciate you all so much. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast. Check us out on all the socials. Follow along. And go to our website as well, secunfiltered.com. Stay tuned to us at SEC Unfiltered for all the latest. And me at CPhilly19 as well. Guys, again, appreciate you all so much. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we will talk to you all on the other side.